Sri Lankan Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya sits down for an exclusive interview with Leaders Talk. Impressed by China's development, she said,
It's almost miraculous, right? When you see how much has been achieved.
Speaking highly of President Xi Jinping's vision of building a community with a shared future for humanity, she noted,
We have to think of a shared future and a shared journey. And this is something that we need to be mindful of all the time and not think in isolation.
Looking ahead to stronger bilateral ties, she said,
This relationship, I am confident, will continue to be an example of what a good, strong bilateral relationship, one that is based on mutual respect and commitment and trust, and what it can deliver for both countries.
Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Leaders Talk, where we meet leaders, thinkers, and trailblazers. I'm He Yeke. Today we are joined by the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, Harini Amarasuriya. During her visit in China, what has left the deepest impression on her? What are her expectations for bilateral cooperation and the Belt and Road Initiative? And what vision does she hold for Sri Lanka's development? Stay with us as we explore these questions and more in today's conversation.
Prime Minister Amarasuriya, it's a great pleasure to have you on Leaders Talk.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
This is your first visit to China after taking office.
Oh, yes. Yes.
First, I'd like to know, how would you describe the current state of the two countries' relations?
We've had a long-standing relationship, and this is a new chapter, and I think a stronger chapter, because I only see the relationship getting stronger, becoming stronger, because the thinking process is aligned, the vision is more aligned, and the strategies are more aligned. So this relationship, I am confident, will continue to be an example of what a good, strong bilateral relationship, one that is based on mutual respect and commitment and trust, and what it can deliver for both countries.
During her visit to China, Prime Minister Amarasuriya took part in a city walk, exploring a number of cultural landmarks and experiencing firsthand both the depth of China's history and the dynamism of its development. She also shared highlights of her journey on social media, offering a personal glimpse into what she saw, felt, and experienced along the way.
You made some time to visit the Forbidden City and the Great Wall, experience the long history and splendid culture of China. Which part impressed you most?
Oh my goodness, it's very hard to pick on one part of it. I really enjoyed all of my experiences. The visit to the Forbidden City, I wish I had more time. I certainly would love to come back and explore. There's so much to see and explore there. And it's amazing. It's an amazing testament to the skills, I think, of the Chinese people and the innovation that you see. So that was really impressive. Then I really had a wonderful time at the Great Wall. That is also quite an experience, and one that I didn't think I would get to personally experience. So I was very happy to do that as well. It's a bit of a trek, but it tested my fitness. But it was very, very enjoyable, and the scenery there, it's beautiful when you get up there and you see the surroundings. You can sort of imagine yourself in that era and what it must have been, what it must have felt like, and what it would have looked like at that time. So that was wonderful. I was very honored to have been given that opportunity to pay my respects to the People's Monument. So all of these were very, very special historically. And then I also met the leadership, China's leadership. So that was also extremely inspirational.
Yeah, you mentioned the monument to people's hero. And also I know that you visited the museum of CPC. Actually, we have saying that a nation cannot exist without heroes. How do you see the long journey that the Chinese people walk all the way to the glory?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. A nation needs heroes to inspire, and that is also why history is so important, because there's so much we can learn from history, so many lessons that we can apply to our current condition. And this is something that I noticed and I feel that China has done really well, is in preserving that history and also in making sure that the current generation learns from its heroes, from its struggles, and appreciates the journey that was taken to get to this point, and also to be mindful of the need to keep this legacy going and to protect this legacy and move forward, right? So you see President Xi as the leader, today's leader, taking that legacy forward, right? So it's a dynamic process and something that I think current generation can learn from and understand how history matters and how each of us has a role to play in this history, in making sure that it's not just confined to the past, but it's something that is constantly being created.
Yeah, indeed. Besides the history, I'm sure you have felt the pulse of China's rapid development during this visit. What have you observed regarding the Chinese path to modernization on this visit?
Yeah, it's almost miraculous, right? When you see how much has been achieved, China's position in the world today, not just as producing goods or manufacturing goods, but innovating, right, and constantly creating and taking a lead in on the global stage in almost every sector. To me, and I think the lesson that I take back is the commitment of the leadership, the discipline, also the focus on ensuring that whatever is done benefits people at the end of the day, that the leadership is here to serve. In a way, that was the message of your history also, the revolutionary path, was that it was ultimately serving the people, making the lives of the people better. And that has worked. That commitment to that principle has really worked. You see that when you're out and about and how people's lives have benefited and improved from that commitment.
President Xi met with you. Anything impressed you? What kind of leader do you think he is?
Well, he is a very inspiring leader. I don't think he would have been able to take China to where it is now without that kind of personality and that charisma. And that's very evident. I felt very privileged to have had that time with him. We discussed a range of issues. As you know, Sri Lanka and China have a long-standing, very good, collaborative, friendly relationship. And both sides talked about the ways in which we can continue to take this relationship forward.
On the United Nations Day, you delivered a very wonderful speech saying that the world faces immense challenges. How do you assess the current international landscape and what solutions do you believe lie ahead?
The world is going through many disruptions and quite uncertain. Things are much more complicated and complex than it has been. War and conflict is never a good thing, and often it's the most vulnerable segments of the of any community that is most affected. And we saw what happened in Gaza and in the Middle East when the conflict was at its height, what it did to women and children in particular. I think it's really important that as leaders we continue to look for peaceful solutions, look to conflict resolution, look towards working with each other based on mutual respect and collaboration and cooperation, and that we ensure that what we do is sustainable but also peaceful. Ultimately, as leaders, we are responsible for the lives of human beings, and that the decisions we make really have consequences that are sometimes can be quite terrible. So we really need to always make sure that the consequences of our decisions do not harm even the most vulnerable, especially, I would say, the most vulnerable in our countries, in our nations. And I don't think we can think in isolation anymore. What we do affects other countries, other nations, other societies, and we have to be mindful of that we live in a globally connected world. I think in the words of President Xi, we have to think of a shared future and a shared journey. And this is something that we need to be mindful of all the time and not think in isolation.
Facing the challenges and the reality of the world, how do you see China's contribution, solution, and efforts to enhance the world's governance?
I think China's commitment to multilateralism, China's commitment to the UN system, I think all of this is very critical at this moment and very important. China's commitment to fair trade, to free trade, all of this is very important.
Sri Lanka lies in the Indian Ocean, just south of the South Asian subcontinent, facing India across the Palk Strait to the northwest. Located at the heart of major international shipping routes in the Indian Ocean, the country enjoys a unique geographical advantage and is often described as the heart of the Indian Ocean. Blessed with a warm, humid tropical climate, the island nation has developed an agriculture-led economy. Tea, rubber, coconuts, and rice are widely grown, contributing to its rich natural resources. China and Sri Lanka share a time-honored friendship. In 1952, the two countries broke through the economic blockade imposed by Western nations and signed the historic Rubber-Rice Pact, a milestone in bilateral cooperation. In recent years, cooperation has continued to expand across infrastructure, port economy, modern agriculture, fisheries, marine conservation, and tourism, delivering fruitful results.
When you first took office, you said that the new Sri Lankan government looks forward to further strengthening the friendly cooperation with China. You said that we've worked very closely with China in the past and we will continue to do so. So which areas of bilateral cooperation do you envision being further expanded in the near future?
We are looking for investment. We are looking to expand our trade, our tourism, our manufacturing industries. We want to ensure that our development is green, that it's sustainable, that we are energy independent. In all of these, the Chinese government have invested in our highways, in our infrastructure, in our energy sector, and in our manufacturing sector. So these are all sort of very good fits. For me, it's also this is also a very important area in that China has always invested in Sri Lanka's education. We are trying to make our education more modernized, make it more digitally friendly and future ready. And China is supporting us a lot on that as well. That's another area, I think, where I see a lot of support from China, where we can work together. And of course, also with agriculture and in health, again, China has come forward to help Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka was among the first countries to join the Belt and Road Initiative. What are your expectations for the future cooperation between two countries and the framework of the BRI?
Well, I think the Belt and Road Initiative is about a shared future, about shared modernization, shared development. And that's important for us. Our strategic location geographically as well means that we are well positioned to be part of that shared future and to benefit from the lessons that China is willing to share with us on modernization and development. So this is why we were one of the first countries to agree to the Belt and Road Initiative and to be part of that. And the investments that China has made in our port city, in our harbors, all of this, I think, speaks to that investment and that collaboration.
While pursuing its own development, China has consistently championed win-win cooperation, sharing the fruits of its growth with the world through construction expertise and technology innovation. Across Belt and Road partner countries, Chinese-built projects have delivered tangible improvements to local livelihoods and earned widespread recognition. In Sri Lanka, one powerful symbol of this partnership appears on the country's 100 rupee banknote, the Puttalam Coal Power Plant, built by a Chinese company. The facility has set several national milestones. Sri Lanka's first coal-fired power station, its largest power generator, and to date, the largest economic cooperation project between China and Sri Lanka.
Prime Minister Amarasuriya, I want to show you something. Here we got a banknote. You must be very familiar with
Yes.
it. This is a 100 rupee note, one of Sri Lanka's most commonly used in the country. Actually, it features the Puttalam Coal Power Plant, a very key project built by the Chinese company. It's even become a landmark.
Yes.
So how do you see what concrete benefits has this kind of practical cooperation brought to the people in Sri Lanka?
Like I said before, energy independence is something that is very important for us. We are a small country, but we have invested in infrastructure and making sure that electrification reaches everyone, because we think that is essential for the people to be able to participate meaningfully in development. So our energy projects are critical in that. And not only has China now, this is some time ago, but China is continuing to work with us on ensuring that our energy is also now green and sustainable, and that it can that our energy independence is assured. So I think in the future you will see many such projects and perhaps many such notes with other symbols as well that reflect China and Sri Lanka's collaboration and partnership.
Actually, China is also welcoming Sri Lanka's products. As you know, that the 8th China International Import Expo, or CIIE. This is the very first expo that themed on import. Sri Lanka, as a regular participant country, actually never missed one. How do you see this platform of importing expo CIIE, and what other distinctive products would you like to highlight for Chinese consumers?
I think that's a very important forum, and I'm really hopeful that our Sri Lankan exporters will make use of that opportunity to display and to promote their products. You've already seen one, tea, but we also have cinnamon. We have the best quality cinnamon in the world.
Oh, okay.
It's patented. Ceylon cinnamon is as famous as Ceylon tea, so it's very unique. So our spices, our other spices like pepper and cloves and nutmeg, then our gems, our stones, which are again very unique. I think our sapphires are world class. And
you can see that displaying on the table, there are two kinds of tea.
Yes.
One is from China. This is very classic.
This one.
Yeah, this one from Sri Lanka.
Yes, one of our most famous brands.
Yes, Ceylon tea.
Yeah.
Feel free to taste it if you like. Actually, China, as the home of tea, has a culture that embodies the idea of harmony without uniformity and the ability to appreciate different cultures' beauty. What philosophy does Sri Lanka have on tea, and how it tie in with Chinese philosophy?
Well, tea is very much a part of our life. It's not just our major export. It's linked to our lifestyle. It's also become a tourist trail. UNESCO, we are working on getting UNESCO to recognize it as a World Heritage site, the tea trail, because it's also very beautiful. So it's very much a part of our culture. And like in China, I think for us in Sri Lanka, a cup of tea makes everything all right. Whenever we are tired or unhappy, cup of tea will put everything right.
This is the final solution.
This is the final solution.
Yeah. So how do you see the people-to-people exchanges, cultural exchanges between two countries?
Oh, I think there's a lot of affinity, a lot of similarities. I think we both appreciate family, good values, hard work. Maybe China a little bit more than Sri Lanka, perhaps. But That's something we can learn from you. So I think all of this brings us together. There are many students, Sri Lankan students in China, even as I speak, which will only further strengthen those relationships.
Actually, tourism is also an important
Yes.
way for different countries, cultures to connect and learn from each other. So what's your outlook on promoting tourism facilitation?
Well, tourism is one of our major source industries, and we are really pleased that China is becoming one of our prime sources of tourists to Sri Lanka. And I'm hopeful that with the relaxation of visa regulations from both countries, we will be able to develop this even further. This is something we discussed. I know there are lots of Chinese visitors to Sri Lanka, and I believe they all have a really good time. They will experience a different cuisine. They will experience a very unique Chinese food culture in Sri Lanka as well. Chinese food is everywhere. I think Chinese people will really enjoy Sri Lanka. I mean, I think the beauty of Sri Lanka is that we pack a lot into a small space. We are a small country, but we have a lot to offer, and we are very hospitable. Our biggest strength comes from our people. I think everyone who comes to Sri Lanka will immediately feel the warmth and the hospitality that we offer. And I look forward to welcoming more Chinese tourists to Sri Lanka and vice versa. I think there's a lot that China offers as well that many Sri Lankans will really enjoy, as I have.
You know what, last time in our interview, President Disanayak recommended me a very famous Sri Lanka coastal railway line as
yes.
a must-visit tourist attraction. So what other attractions do you like to recommend to Chinese tourists?
Well, the beaches, the warm, sunny beaches, the railway line, and another part of the Sri Lankan landscape that I really love are the man-made irrigation tanks. And well, tank sounds like such a ugly word, but they're beautiful. They're part of our agriculture, very much a part of President Disanayaka's hometown, where he comes from. The agricultural land there is fed by these irrigation systems, which are also very ancient and really teach us about the engineering skills and the innovation of our people even in the past. So I would invite you to come and see part of that as well.
Oh, definitely.
There's a lot to see and do. If you like adventure, there's also that. You can go abseiling, surfing, bungee jumping, whatever it is. And also the food.
You have done extensive background in social science research, and you have authored multiple books and papers on issues such as the impact of macroeconomic reforms on Sri Lankan workers, such as education policy and its impact on social mobility. What changes do you hope your government will bring to Sri Lanka, drawing on your academic and social insights?
Well, I think my academic interests were also based on my interest in social justice, on equality, on equity. What drew me to the politics of the National People's Power, our commitment to social justice and the principles of equity and equality. And this is what we want to guarantee to the people of our country, that the injustices of the past, whether it be based on gender, whether it be based on class, whether it be based on ethnicity, that all of these are addressed and that all people benefit from development and from progress equally, and that our society is one that is just, one that is respectful, one where there's kindness and compassion towards each other, and one that is truly one that where people flourish.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister.
Thank you.
And we got a souvenir, a gift from the China Media Group from our show. This is called the Luban lock. This is a lock, but
I see.
It just uses different woolen sticks to relay on each other to have a very sticky integrity. So it represents like the solidarity, cooperation, like a mutual assistance.
Oh, I think that symbolizes Sri Lanka and China's relationship very well.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In this exclusive interview, Prime Minister Amarasuriya spoke highly of the long-standing friendship between China and Sri Lanka. She emphasized that a relationship grounded on mutual respect and deep trust can serve as a model for state-to-state relations and deliver real benefits to both peoples. Looking ahead, she expressed her hope for expanding collaborations in areas such as green energy, education, and people-to-people exchanges, bringing fresh momentum to Sri Lanka's development. Thank you for watching this edition of Leaders Talk. I'm He Yanke. See you next time.